Good morning, traders, and welcome to NewdsWares Trade Talk for Tuesday, November 11th. Okay, let's get into the action. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down 0.25% this morning. Futures have been hanging around this down 0.2% all morning long. There's still this overhang of the deal to reopen the government. The move is now in Congress's hands. They're not going to vote today. Probably tomorrow. Could reopen Friday. Then we get a flood of economic data coming in. That data is going to be suspect. Because the fact is that a lot of it is calculated in October, and nobody was working in October, so you got to question it. Hey, today is Veterans Day. You know what that means? That means the bond market is closed, lower volumes for the market. And because the government is closed today, you're not going to get any SEC filings today. What do we have on the tape today? China's putting together a rare earth exports control system. They don't want their rare earths going into military development, so they're putting together a system to kind of try and prevent that. There's some caution in the air because is this going to violate the agreement that they have with Donald Trump? It's causing a little bit of tension in the U.S.-China trade relations. Not a big deal. It's not monumental. It's just starting. We'll have to see what happens with this. Speaking of President Trump, he's talking up a trade deal. He's talking up a trade deal with India. He said that a trade deal with India is near. And then he also highlighted efforts about a possible trade deal with Switzerland that could be announced shortly. The big news story for today is on NVDA. SoftBank sold its entire position of NVIDIA last month on their earnings front. Hey, we're seeing some gains in Rocket Labs, RKLB, P-Sky, Paul, Sam, Kilo, Yellow. BBAI is also trading higher. On the downside, we got CoreWeave, CRWV, SE, and Rigetti Computing, RGTI. Tomorrow morning, we get earnings coming out from CRCL, Legend Bio, LEGN, ONON, and Tencent's TME. But let's take a quick peek at the global markets, and let's take a look at what's happening in Germany. Germany's flat to higher. It's up 0.05% or 11 points. It was higher, but it has since pulled back. That German indicator of economic sentiment came out. I mean, the November reading was 38.5. They were expecting a reading of 40, so that's a little light. That's why that index pulled back a little bit. But the FTSE, on the other hand, the FTSE's up 66 points or 0.68%. They had their unemployment figures come out. The unemployment showed that it was rising to 5%. Now, while that would be considered negative normally, but you have to also consider the fact that the odds of a rate cut next month by the Bank of England are increasing. That's why you're seeing these gains in the FTSE this morning. And then the CAC in Paris is up 61 points or 0.76%. You know what it is? Luxury stocks. Luxury stocks are moving higher. You had some good positive earnings come out, and boom, that market is showing green. Let's take a look at Asia last night. And Asia was mainly lower, I would say. It was mixed to lower. I mean, not significantly. I mean, the Nikkei dropped 68 points. That's 0.14%. You had some declines in tech and AI-related stocks. There's some concern about the optimism of AI that you had yesterday that went back into the market. Now they're seeing a little profit taking there. Hong Kong, the Hang Seng, finished up 47 points or 0.18%, outperformance in financials and property stocks. But China fell 0.39%. Sentiment weakened due to that report that China is developing a rare earth export control system. Now, that would restrict some access for U.S. firms, including defense manufacturing, and it's cautionary because it could create a renewed trade tensions with the U.S. Turning our attention over to oil this morning, and oil is showing gains this morning. We got Brent crude up 40 cents to 64.46. Get WTI up 33 cents to $60.46. So oil's up over 0.5% this morning. There's a news out there that one of the Russian oil services firms, Lukoil, they declared force majeure at its oil field in Iraq, which produces about 480,000 barrels per day, and that accounts for about 9% of Iraqi's total output. The news is really due to the U.S. sanctions that the U.S. put on Lukoil, which have disrupted It's operations. And when you're disrupting operations, you're pulling oil off the market. When you're pulling oil off the market, you're going to see oil prices move higher. And that's what we're seeing with oil this morning. Okay, let's take another turn and let's move into earnings action this morning. We got to start out with CoreWeave. That's ticker CRWV. Okay, they beat by 29 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Results were just okay. You look at that stock, it's down 9.29%. There's some concerns about their guidance not being as robust as the market was looking for. So that's why that stock is selling off. And then you have Occidental Petroleum. That's ticker OXY, oil. X-ray, yellow. They beat by 48 cents. They deliver, excuse me, not 48 cents. They did deliver a beat this morning. But you look at Occidental Petroleum and the stock is up 0.38% this morning, which is positive. Upcoming, we have Circle Internet. That's ticker CRCL. EPS is 17 cents. Expected move is 14.6%. You got 10 cents Music, TME. Their EPS is 21 cents. Expected move is 9.28% when these two firms announce tomorrow morning. On the economic front, listen, we could start getting, economic reports, for October's flooding in, next week. That data is suspect. ADP jobs report, I think, is coming out today. It will be reviewed, but it's questionable because it doesn't have the same gold standard as the U.S.'s weekly jobs report. Okay, let's take a look at the Fed speak, and we got Michael Barr speaking. He's speaking tonight at 10:30 p.m. Taking a look at the markets this morning. Realistically, we're seeing some mixed action, as you would expect. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. 1, 2, Actually, I got 20 higher and 10 lower. That's not bad. That's not a bad way to start today. But I look at my FANG stocks, and I'm seeing some small gains in Apple, but everything else is trading off. We're looking at some of the news behind the tape, and we got to start off with Amazon, ticker AMZN, which is down 0.2% this morning. But they have a 2-day sales event starting today called Amazon Haul. This is interesting. A lot of it is low-priced goods, but it's they're trying to clear out their inventory, it looks like. Google came out and they said they plan to invest about 5 billion euros into a European data center. Meta Platforms chief AI scientist, he's going to leave to start his own AI startup. Tesla came out yesterday and they said that their October delivery data for Tesla is showing weakness. Not good. We're looking at Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we're talking about NVIDIA. Of course, Japan SoftBank sold its entire stake, its entire position in NVIDIA for $5.8 billion in October. Boeing, ticker BA, striking workers in St. Louis will be voting on a union endorsement contract on Thursday. That would be positive for shares of Boeing, which are trading a little higher this morning. And Microsoft, ticker MSFT, they're out there recruiting influencers in America to kind of try and popularize its Copilot. Kind of reminds me a lot about the browser. Remember, when the browsers came out, there was Yahoo, there was AOL, there was Netscape, there were others as well. They all disappeared. The only ones that left are really Google, Safari, and of course Microsoft. Microsoft was not first to the browser war. They came in second, third. But what they delivered was a browser that was on every PC. So they got all of every time you opened up your PC, you got a new PC. You automatically had internet access with your Windows operating system, because the Windows operating system combined the Microsoft browser, and this is what they're doing now. Again, Microsoft's Copilot, it's going to be around for a long time. They might not be the first, they might not be the best, but they're going to have legs. You can count on it from Microsoft. Microsoft's going to have legs with Copilot. What else do we see? Merger news, PH. That's Parker Hannifin. They agreed to acquire Filtration Group for $9.25 billion. Oh, we got to talk about AMD. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. These guys are having an analyst meeting today. It's going to start at 1 p.m. There could be something here. You got to keep an eye on AMD for a move at its analyst meeting today. Let's take a look here. AMD's trading off about 0.75% this morning. Okay, let's talk about the pick for today. You know what? I'm going to go with Circle Internet Group, CRCL, Charlie Richard, Charlie Larry. It's kind of a new IPO. It went public earlier this year, but I think there could be something here. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is 17 cents, and the expected move is 14.6%. Now, you look at yesterday's call volume, 66,000 calls versus 38,000 puts. You look at the open interest, 540K versus 403K. This is positive. I normally like something like this. Major brokers do like the stock, but they think it's a little over, but it's higher than their price targets. That's what I don't love about it. Okay, in terms of an entry point, I'm gonna say 101.25. I'm gonna say 101.25. And if it hits 101.25, it's worth taking a shot. Other than that, I'll probably back off it. But that's my pick of the day. Circle Internet, CRCL, Charlie Richard, Charlie Larry, 101.25. Okay, let's see what else we got here. What's hitting the tape this morning? Russia's officials say if any nuclear power conducted tests, Russia will do the same. Well, Russia's been doing it anyway, so what does that mean? Shark Ninja, SN, they're launching Shark Beauty on Walmart.com. Poet Technologies, quantum computing to develop 3.2 terabytes optical engines. NBIS, Nancy Boy, India Sam. Nebius secures a $3 billion meta infrastructure deal over 5 years. Johnson & Johnson, their management is going to present today at the UBS Healthcare Conference at 11 a.m. SRDX, Sam Richard David X-Ray private equity firm GTCR will be allowed to proceed with the acquisition. Target, TJT, announced price reductions on food and essentials to support families during the holiday season. And I just want to point out, PZZA, Paul Zebra, Apple. You know, this is Papa John Pizza. There was takeover chatter yesterday in this stock about a $65 per share bid from Tri-Artisan. I don't know if I put a lot of weight into it, but it is something to keep an eye on. Beyond Meat posted a bigger quarterly loss than forecasted. Boeing received approval from the U.S. aviation regulator to begin the third of 5 major phases of certification flights for its 777-9 wide-body jets. All right, that's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about pick of the day, which for yesterday, which was ticker OXY, Oscar X-ray Yellow. Didn't work out. I mean, you know, listen, look at the numbers here. The stock opened up at 41.62, and it fell down to 40.88, and it closed out at 41.82. Now, my entry price was $40.50. It didn't hit my entry price. It came close. It claimed 33 cents. It was 38 cents away. It did drop below 41. But then it rallied. I mean, it closed at 41.82. And you look at it this morning, it's trading 42. So, I mean, I don't like to talk about positions when they're on, but I'm a hair away from gaining my 1%. I think it'll hit between now and the open, but OXY, I'll call it positive. They did a beat on earnings, but they missed on guidance, and the guidance was only a slight guidance miss. So I do think we're going to see some, more positive action in Occidental Petroleum, ticker OXY today. It's still in limbo, but I do think it's going to be a win at the end of the day. But OXY was my pick from yesterday, trading higher this morning. And that's what I have for you for NewsWares Trade Talk for Tuesday, November 11th. Guys, you know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.